WCAB.
Hey, this is Gilbert Talks Taxes. That was the international
intelligence and our
signal.
commitment to our security partnerships.
Lincoln staying there to break ground on a new U.S.
opening recording. It's really not a song, is it? Although if you loop it enough, I guess you can make a song out of anything. That is the International Morse Code Signal. That is the SOS. The program is Gilbert Talks Taxes. We are here live this April 15th, Saturday morning. Emily and I. Good morning, Emily.
Good morning.
Is here. And Tom, my engineer. Good morning, Tom.
You're on.
Thank you for being here. And I am on www.wcab59.com. Those of you live streaming, thank you and good morning.
Picking you up in Uganda.
Picking me up all over the world, Tom, in Uganda. It's funny you would say that because, I do have a client in Ethiopia. He's an American that works in Ethiopia. So I do have, oh, yes. Gilbert Talks Taxes touches every continent. I'm pretty sure. I just need,
You need verification from Antarctica?
Antarctica. Okay. Almost every continent. You paid attention in geography class, didn't you, Emily? Thank you for that.
I did.
Okay, the program is Gilbert Talks Taxes. Gilbert talks a lot of things. Gilbert talks about a lot of things. So it has been a busy tax season. Let me get all this out of the way, because as we all know, taxation with representation hasn't been such a good idea either. That's why this program exists. My sole purpose is to have people pay the least amount of taxes we can legally get away with, we can legally report, and that is what I do. And we've had a very, very busy year this year. We're very happy, very excited. I'm going to get to all the thank yous. This will be the last program I'm going to do for this tax season. We're going to take a little break. Actually, we go on hiatus. That's media talk for we're taking a break. We're going to go on hiatus, and I haven't decided what the fall schedule is going to be yet. We usually come back sometime before September when all the extensions that, the people that filed extensions procrastinate to the last month. We usually come back before September. But I am Gilbert Carmona. I am an enrolled agent. An enrolled agent is a person enrolled with the Internal Revenue Service. I also have securities licenses. I'm also a financial planner. I'm a business consultant, and that is why I do the program. I want to teach people as much as I can so they can help themselves. And that's what the program's been about, and I hope to that end that I've succeeded. We are doing tax returns. We have this year, the extension is not the 15th of April. The deadline is not the 15th of April. They've actually extended it to Tuesday the 18th, because whenever the 15th or any deadline date falls on a weekend, they push it to the next business day. Well, this year, Monday the 17th is Emancipation Day in Washington, D.C. The federal government in Washington, D.C., I don't think it's anywhere else, just in Washington, D.C., is closed. And that is the IRS headquarters. So the IRS is closed on Monday, the 17th. But they will reopen. They assured me, bright-eyed and bushy-tailed, on the ready to go, on the 18th. So you have until midnight on the 18th. If you've procrastinated that long, you might as well wait till midnight. You might as well wait till the last minute.
No, please don't.
We e-file right up until the last minute. Now, this year, my wife has assured me that we will not be there that late. There were years when I was there right up until midnight.
Yeah, in the very recent past.
Yeah. Well, last year we weren't. There that late, I don't think. We actually had people, and I had to put a stop to that. We had people that would show up on the 15th, or the last day. So they would show up like at 5 o'clock to file the tax returns. And, back then, it was, sure, come on in. Come on in. The water's warm. Come on in. And we would have it. And then it kind of like, by the third year, it kind of became a thing. When they brought, when they brought chicken and pizza, that's when I said, we gotta put a stop to this. This is becoming a thing. Oh, yeah. They brought one year they showed up at 5 o'clock to do their tax returns with chicken and ordered a pizza. And I said, oh, no. I said, well, I'm a little busy right now, but I can do it. And they're like, oh, no problem. Hold on. And they called Domino's. And next thing I know, there's a pizza party in my waiting room. Sure, why not? And there were like 5 people all waiting to get there because they bring friends. I don't know why, but they bring friends. Yeah, but we put a stop to that. But we can e-file I am an ERO on top of other things. I'm an electronic return originator, which means that it goes from my little computer right to the IRS's little computer and in real time. And so if I file it, it gets a timestamp on it, it is good to go. Now, one question I get is people will sometimes get a reject where there's a problem with their tax return. It gets e-filed and it gets rejected for many reasons. It gets rejected. We've been seeing a lot of rejects this year because of people that have ACA, which is the Affordable Care Act, which is what we used to call, or still kind of do call, Obamacare. They have Obamacare. People don't realize when they go to an insurance agent for health care insurance, a lot of them go right through the exchange, the healthcare.gov exchange. So you're actually getting subsidized insurance and don't even realize it.
That's bad.
Yeah, that's bad. We've seen a lot of it this year. Have it. Unless you know that you don't have subsidized insurance, you probably have subsidized insurance. It's the other way around. It used to be, oh, I know I have Obamacare. Now it's, well, I have insurance. What kind of insurance is it? Well, I don't know. If that's the answer, most of the time they have Obamacare because they don't know. And then, so I e-file it. We call that e-filing when I send it off to the IRS, and it will immediately reject, because when you have Obamacare, ACA, Affordable Care Act, when you have that, the IRS's computer is looking for Form 1095A. And if 1095A isn't stuck on that tax return, you got some explaining to do. Okay? So, it'll reject. Now, there's special rules for rejects. You actually have 10 days to perfect that tax return. How's that for an IRS term? Huh? We're going to perfect that tax return. That means it'll be accepted. And there's other reasons why they'll reject. This year we've had a big delay with S-Corp status, businesses. Just a big delay. They're just way behind schedule over there.
So if you do it within the 10 days, does it have the original timestamp?
The original timestamp. Because it goes through, thank you for completing that thought for me, because it goes through and it gets labeled as a reject and you have time. Now you can multiple reject where you think you got it, whatever the issue was, you send it through again, it'll reject again, and it restarts that 10-day clock. But as long as you have e-filed before midnight on the 18th or before whatever the deadline date is, you're good. You will have 10 days from the last reject, but you still got to be within that time frame to be good. So at that point, what I've just been telling people, if we get these last minute rejects, is I will right away file an extension. I'll reset the thing and pull up all the extension forms and file an extension so that there's no, what if you can't get the forms you need in 10 days? That's been the problem. Now, if it's ACA, so what do you do if you didn't get a 1095A? Well, they tell you to log into healthcare.gov, right?
Sure.
Right, sure. Sounds easy. Sounds easy, but it involves the government. If you didn't create that account yourself and you didn't get healthcare.gov subsidized insurance, you have no idea that you have a healthcare.gov portal, login, whatever. So most of those people go, and I've had people actually like, I'm showing them the reject thing. The IRS says, oh, I didn't have it. Yeah, you do. No, I have whatever insurance they'll say, Blue Cross Blue Shield, Aetna, whatever they'll say. No, I have that. A question that I always ask, and then I'll tell you how to get your 1095A. But the question I ask is, how much do you pay for health insurance? Okay, and if they say anything, like, oh, I pay $100 a month. If they say anything like that, you're like, you're subsidized. I mean, there are people paying thousands of dollars a month for health insurance for a family. And if you're paying like $150, and I always tell a story about the school teacher. I always tell that story to people. I had a school teacher, and she had worked. She actually retired down here from up north, and she had worked for the school system up there for 40 years. She had never paid for health insurance. So she's now retired, and their pension plan, that school system, did not offer when you retired, because the theory was you're going to retire and you're going to get Medicare. At 65, you'll have Medicare because everybody's going to work till 65, right? I mean, that used to be the thinking.
Yeah.
Today, it's not. Today, that's not even. I mean, you talk to young people today, it's a whole other agenda they have. But that generation worked till 65, and at 65, I want my gold watch and my retirement check. And you're on your own. So you were supposed to have Medicare. Well, she retired a little early because she qualified. So she had a couple of years to get insurance. She needed to get insurance. So she called her agent. He connected her with healthcare.gov. She was paying 90 something. It was under $100 a month. And she thought that was expensive. She'd never paid it. She didn't know what insurance costs. Yeah. So that, yeah. And then, so it's $100 a month. She complained about it. I said, well, your tax return rejected because you have healthcare.gov. And she goes, I don't have that. I said, yeah, you do. She says, oh, yeah, my insurance. Yeah. Can you believe how expensive that is? I'm like, well, no. Hello. Welcome to the rest of us that didn't work for the government for 40 years. And what had happened, the reason her story was at the time shook us all, because this was the very first case I ever had where she had to pay her entire subsidy back. Because when she got healthcare.gov, the agent, people didn't know what they were doing the first couple of years. To your typical government program, they didn't explain it to anybody, right? Nobody knew what they were doing. So when they asked her, so you're collecting Social Security? She's like, yeah, I'm on early retirement. Okay, great. How much do you get? He asked her, how much do you get from Social Security? And she said, I get whatever it was. I can't remember, $1,500 a month. And he's like, oh, okay, great. You qualify for this, and signed her up. Well, he didn't think to ask her, do you have a pension?
Ouch.
She had a pension. She had a pension that was equivalent to 80% or 85% of her income the day she retired from a school system up north. Yeah, she had that. And to top it off, she sold her house up there and moved down here, so she had capital gains. That goes on that tax return too, and that does bump that up. Yeah, so she had to pay her subsidy back. She couldn't believe it. People pay. How do people live? I'm like, thank you.
We were wondering the same.
We were wondering the same thing, but so they didn't know how that all worked. But that's been the biggest reject we're seeing. So we get rejected. You didn't know you had healthcare.gov. You've got this ACH. You've got this ACA plan. What do? We can actually get on the phone and call healthcare.gov, and believe it or not, for a governmental agency, they're very helpful, or they have been with us, with our clients. We can get you on the phone. You have to do it. We can't do it for you. You get it, but you can do it right there in our office. You get on the phone. I give you a blank 1095A, and they'll actually give you the numbers. There's 3 columns, and they give you the numbers, and they've been very, very helpful. It's very simple. Once you get somebody on the phone, it takes maybe 5 minutes. Maybe. It's the waiting to get somebody on the phone, which hasn't taken that long. That's been happening pretty quick. Also, we've been able to get it. The other thing you can do is, if you know your login and you created the account, you can actually log in and download the PDF. Just give it right to us, right? We can print it, or you can email it to us, or you can call your agent. A lot of people just do that. They call their agent. That's why the 10-day grace period has been good. They call their agent, and then their agent will get it for you. But I was surprised at how many agents couldn't, or let me say it this way, wouldn't, because I think they can. They say, no, this account got created for you. You're the only one that can access it. We've heard that from some agents, but other agents have no problem getting it. That's why I'm saying I don't understand. You would think it would be a problem across the board, like, okay, so your agent can't do it. But we're getting mixed feedback there. I've had great agents where the people call them. One guy was even on a Saturday, called them and said, of course, his independent agent, they actually work. They're not the Monday through Friday 9 to 5 agents. Independent who's he's available for his clients. Called him, and the guy said, oh yeah, hold on a second, and literally in 10 minutes I had an email with a 1095. 1095A. But that's the big one. There's other rejects too. So the rejects right now are the big thing, or the big problem. But so the deadline is getting ready to take a break. The deadline is Tuesday at midnight, the 18th. Now at this point, if you come to me that you need your tax return done, the best thing I'm going to do for you is an extension. Actually, anybody since the last of March has been an extension. We're extending you. And an extension to file, Emily?
Is not an extension to pay.
That's right. So you got to send an estimated tax payment if you want to. If you don't, there is a failure to send estimated tax payment penalty. Now, it extends you for 6 months. We are not waiting 6 months. We are on a schedule. Actually, our calendar is pretty busy next week. We are seeing it. We're keeping people. We're moving through. We've been having problems with fidelity and stuff, getting 1099s. Well, let me talk about that when we get back. This is Gilbert Talks Taxes. Let's take a break. WCAB AM 590 FM 100.9.
Jesse James Railroad Express has moved to a new location, 126 Park Lane Plaza in Rutherfordton, and they've changed their name, Jesse James Chowhound Canteen. A new name, a new place, and a limited menu. Currently, you can get smoked sausages, kielbasa's, and of course those delicious hot dogs. And you can get coleslaw, macaroni and cheese, and potato salad. Stay tuned for their new menu at their new place. Hours are Tuesday through Saturdays from 11 until 2, closed Sundays and Mondays. Jesse James Chowhound Canteen, 126 Park Lane Plaza in Rutherfordton. Call 286-9368 and get a 99-cent hot dog with mustard, chili, and onions, Tuesdays only.
Hi, this is Christy. Gilbert and I are excited to announce our new name and location. Carmona Financial Consultants at 704 Oak Street in Forest City. Let us help you with your taxes. Let us help you with your investments. Carmona Financial Consultants at 704 Oak Street in Forest City. Stop by or give us a call at 828-289-9300.
This is Gilbert. Gilbert Talks Taxes. WCAB AM 590 FM 100.9. That was the international Morse code signal. The cry for help. And I'll tell you, when you start getting to some of this tax law, it is a cry for help. My telephone number, as Christy just shared with us, my wife, the ever-cheerful Christy, is 828-289-9300. So if you need to file an extension, or if just after tax season work, because people ask me, what do you do after tax season? It's like we don't do anything else. It's like, well, what do you do after tax season? Take a long vacation? No. No, we keep working. We just don't work the intense long hours. I mean, the 2 a.m. thing is, unless I accidentally wake up, I ain't up at 2 in the morning. Wake up and look at the clock and go, oh no, it's time to go back to bed. No, we maintain regular office hours, the Monday through Friday, 9 to 5 hours. And we continue with tax planning and estate planning and all this planning that we do. And we try to, the best laid plans, right? The best laid plans. So I said, when I get back, I'm going to talk about
Fidelity.
And during the break, we have 4 other conversations. Fidelity. So we've been having another thing that's been delaying this year a little bit has been the 1099s. I've actually had several people just go ahead and say, extend me, because last year the 1099s came. So 1099s, if you have investments, you're not going to get one if you have just a plain IRA and a mutual fund, or if you have a 401k at your work, because those are mutual funds and there's no reportable investment activity. But if you have your IRA in a portfolio that's being managed, whether you're managing it or a professional's managing it for you, or you have investments, just an investment portfolio, you're going to get a 1099-B, B for brokerage. And that's where it's going to report dividends and interest and capital gains, stock sales. What else is on there, Emily? A little bit of everything's on there. A little bit of everything. So it's all on there. So Fidelity, and I'm not picking on Fidelity, actually others also, but they seem to be the biggest one, most of our clients. So Fidelity holds your money is what they do, and they actually do the reporting of it. That's not actually where your investment is. Your investment is in other things. They're just the ones that hold it all and report it all. So there were a lot of corrected 1099s last year. And really, they came from all over. I mean, Wells Fargo, all the different ones. We got corrected 1099s. So we filed people's tax returns, and then we had to go back and amend. Some of the corrections were minor. As a matter of fact, let me say it this way. Most of them were minor, and really an amendment wasn't necessary, but some were pretty major, where just things were categorized wrong. A lot of it was the aggregation of the dividends, qualified versus non-qualified, and there was just a lot of. It wasn't that they reported the wrong numbers; it's just they classified them wrong. Mm-hmm. So you had things that were taxable designated as non-taxable, which is a pretty big oops when you're doing a tax return. But so we had people this year say, I'm not even going to go through that. Let's just extend and let's wait later. So we've had a few of those this year. But other than that, Emily, it has been a boring tax season. No IRS computer meltdown this year. We had one of those a couple of years ago. Yeah, we had one, Tom, right at. I shared the story because we were done with the radio. I shared it when we got back. I was done. The 15th of April, as we're e-filing, it's like 7 o'clock at night. All of a sudden, the IRS's computer locks up, and of course you think it's on us. We're like, what's going on? It's not. Nothing's. I can't send anything up the pipe. Nothing's. It's all just sitting there. And then all of a sudden we hear that it actually happened like an hour before. We get an email that the IRS has been having problems. So many people logged on, to do the free file, the e-file, people that do their own tax returns through the IRS, and then go ahead and pay. So many people that pay through irs.gov, which I'm going to talk about that in a little bit, about if you owe, what do you do? And can you pay online at the irs.gov? Yes, you can. So many people logged in that it crashed their computer. Like it literally crashed it. Like it was frozen. Nothing was going. So our software vendor sent us an email and said, just keep sending it up to us, and it's getting time-stamped and it's good with the IRS. And about 3 or 4 hours later, the IRS issued a memo. I'm thinking, wow, this has got to be important because somebody's there at 8 o'clock at night. Whatever happened, this has got to be big because they're never there at 8 o'clock at night. Yeah, it was the janitor with email access. Okay, so the IRS sent out a and then this is not an email that went out to taxpayers. This is people like, I got an email from the IRS. No, you didn't. The IRS doesn't email anybody, but they sent it out to the software, the top software people to let their customers know that this was going to be tomorrow. So the extension, the deadline date got unofficially pushed back 24 hours. So nothing like that is, and for us, for our world, that was like major. And it had been a long day. I remember this. We were very tired, and it was a long day, and we were all like, can't wait to get home. Let's get this done. We're wrapping up. It's like 7 o'clock at night. And all of a sudden, now you're like wide awake. It's like zoink. You're like, what's going on? So we ended up staying there till about midnight. Anyway,
Send them all.
Send them all. Well, we did, and they're pretty much wrapped up. It's just, it was nice to have another 24 hours. It's always nice to have another 24 hours. There's always those tax returns that you want to take another look at. You want to make sure those complicated, very, very complicated returns. Did you include everything? Is everything in there? And most of it, it's not anything that's going to affect the money. It's just all the documentation in the back end. Did we attach all the schedules? Did we do the, when you go through the punch list and you go through it twice, and people don't realize when they leave our office, they're done. Okay, to them, this is like going to the dentist. They tell me a lot.
Or the principal's office.
Or the principal's office. Yeah, one or the other. Well, one guy there, they said, this is like going to my pastor's office coming to see you. Yeah. Yeah, well, we have all kinds of conversations in that office, okay? And so when they leave, they think they're done. That's it. No, they're done, but not me. My work is actually, when you leave, after you sign that little piece of paper, we're only about 75% done. I have a lot of work to do to prepare it, to make sure it's ready, to get everything out. We've got the data. Now it's all got to be right to get it off. And there's a lot of moving parts, and people don't realize it. If you have just a couple of W-2s and you do your own tax return, you think, oh, how hard could this be? I know. I get that all the time. So that's it for the delays. The deadline is the 18th. Now, not-for-profits, of course, your deadline, those of you that have 501c3 status or another status, your deadline is May 15th. We pretty much have all of ours done, though, already. There's just a couple that are out there waiting for some information, but that is the Form 990 tax return that you have to do if you are a not-for-profit. Now, you don't have to be 501c3. You can be, there's a whole series of them. 501c3s are the main one. Now, that extension is a 6-month extension, takes you into November. But the reason I don't like extending not-for-profits is because they tend to forget about it. Well, it's an information return. You're not sending any money with it. It's just the IRS wants information. How much money came in, and it's a whole special unit at the IRS that does this. And they don't, I've spoken with them, I've spoken with their auditors and their people. They think totally different. It's not about coming and coming after you. It's a whole different mindset. And now, don't get me wrong, they're looking to make sure that you are legitimately a 501c3. So they're kind of geared to another thing. They want to make sure this is not, a fraudulent scam that you're using, that you've set up to shelter money, to move money. So they come at it from another angle. But it's not about collecting money on the tax return, because there is no money to file. You pay no taxes. Now, if you have payroll in your 501c3, you're paying those taxes through the business unit. And of course, that's got its own schedule that you have to stay on. But the thing that makes not-for-profits unique is if you do not file your tax return 3 consecutive years, you can lose your 501c3 status and you have to reapply. There are no shortcuts. You have to reapply and go through the whole process again. So if a donor is looking you up, and donors do that, especially big donors, look you up at irs.gov, and they go to the charities tab, and they look you up, it will show that you do not have that status anymore. And that is very embarrassing. And you have some explaining to do then. And plus, then the IRS, you've lost your status. So anything now you're doing is now technically a taxable activity. So don't let it go 3 years. And that's why I don't like to extend those, because people forget. And then we stay on top of you. And we have every year, we have people come with 2 or 3 years that they haven't done because they didn't know. And I tell the story about the one where the board changed and the old board didn't tell the new board that there was this thing called the tax return that we have to do. So when the new board got a letter from the IRS, because there is a failure to file, also penalty also. Now, they usually waive those, but it's not guaranteed. And on a 3-year tax return, that failure to file could be $10,000. Yeah, it's a big one. It's an oucher. Yeah, now, again, I've always successfully gotten those waived. Because legitimately, the ones that come to me legitimately, nobody told them. The board changed. I've only had a few. It's not like I have that many. I don't let them get that far behind. But the ones that have come to me, and they're like, and that was the one that they had a board meeting, and the guy reached out to me and he said, they sent me the letter, and I said, oh yeah, I can take care of this. And he goes, well, look, you don't need to talk to me. You really need to talk to the whole board. This is a board decision. Do you mind coming to our board meeting? And it was like in a couple of days or something. I said, sure, I'll come there. So I'm coming there and I'm telling them, well, we're gonna get this 990 filed, and we're blah blah blah, and they're just all looking at me nodding. And I could tell something's off here. They're just nodding. They're like I'm in a room of bobbleheads. They're all just nodding, looking at me. And the one lady finally spoke up and said, "What is a Form 990?" And I said, "It's your tax return." And they all went, at one time, they all went, "Oh, a tax return. Yes, you have to file a tax return." Yeah, and then they all just looked at each other. Like, how are we going to do this? That's okay. I can take care of that for you because I'm Gilbert Carmona. Let's take a break. Gilbert Talks Taxes, WCAB AM 590, FM 100.9.
As we get ready for this year's tax season, there's one thought on everyone's mind. Will Gilbert's hair look fabulous this year? Oh, yes, it will. How can I say that? Because I go to Robin Saunders at RSL Salon. Whether it's a good haircut, a pedicure, or a manicure, you can count on RSL Salon. Call Robin at 828-289-9110 because everyone deserves to look fabulous.
Hi, I'm Sandra. My husband Peterson and I own Precision Detail and Tint. We invite you to come to our new location at 620 U.S. Highway 64, Rutherfordton, on the corner of Silvers Lake Road and Highway 64. Whether you need specialty detailing for your car, RV, or boat, or window tinting for your automobile, or home or business, we can help you. Voted Best of Rutherford County for 11 straight years, you will know you will get quality work at a good price. Stop by for an appointment or call 828-245-8889. We're open Monday through Friday 9 to 5 and Saturday 9 to 1.
This is Kimberly. If you owe the IRS for prior years or you have unfiled tax returns, don't call those national toll-free numbers. Affordable, secure, and local help is available for you. Call Gilbert at 828-289-9300. Gilbert is an enrolled agent permitted to practice before the IRS. Taxation is his specialty. He knows the latest laws to help you with your problem. Avoid garnishments, levies, and liens. All initial consultations are free. Call Gilbert at 828-289-9300.
This is Gilbert Talks Taxes, WCAB AM 590, FM 100.9. So my telephone number, have I given it out yet? I just go right into talking. My telephone number is 828-289-9300. Give us a call if you need your tax returns done. Give us a call if you need financial planning. Give us a call if you just want to say hi. Give us a call. Just say, tell Gilbert I just want to say hi. Just say hi to me. Yeah, we're going to be, you remember the Maytag man? Remember that 20 years ago? The loneliest man in town, just sitting there. That's what people think we do after April 15th, you know. We're just going to sit there.
That was Mr. Carlson
That,
on WKRP.
that is, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
That's a piece of trivia.
See?
Tom, my engineer this morning,
You learned something.
I did learn something, and I probably won't forget that. The program is Gilbert Talks Taxes. Now, this is, I haven't said this, but this is the last, I did say it. This is the last, Emily's looking at me like, yes, you did say it. The last program for the season, so we will not be back next Saturday. Let me repeat that. We will not be back next Saturday. So, Tom, you can leave an hour earlier
How about that?
next Saturday. You don't have to stick around here. Because you're still coming in, right? They're not automating. They're not automating the call around. You will come in. I will. I'm sure we can. I'm sure we can figure out a way to do that. We will be back, or we're told we'll be back. I haven't met the new owners yet. I've met the manager,
Yeah.
but I don't know yet where. I guess we're gonna have conversations about the schedule and stuff coming back. They told me everything's gonna be the same.
Well, there you go.
Well, I know,
Wrong
Tom.
with that.
They also said they were going to close back in November. We had like 6 going away parties for Jim. Things change.
I know.
Things change. So this will be the last program of the season that we're going to do, and then we will we'll be coming back. We'll be coming back soon, and we are speaking. We're developing. We want to continue the theme of the taxes because really that is what Emily and I do. That is the bulk of what we do. As Madeline will tell you on the phone, we do tax returns. But people want to hear me talk about financial planning too. There's a lot of concern about what's going on out there. And people say I have a unique take on things they enjoy. My take is when I talk about financial planning, I'm always looking at the tax implication of it. Because there is such a financial implication. And, for a long time, investments were just clipping along, doing good. it's only been in recent years, we've seen, we had a sharp decline in COVID. Then it came right back up. And then we've had a sharp decline recently. We've got serious inflation. We've got a lot of things happening. And I'm going to, towards the end, there's a couple of scriptures I want to share with people. But for right now, so we do financial planning. But when I'm thinking about financial planning, I'm thinking of two things. One is preserving the wealth you do have. And I said wealth because it's not just about money. It's everything. That's why those of you that meet with me know one of the first questions I ask you is, do you have a will? What do you have? What are you going to do with what you have? And we that conversation goes there because it's about preserving it, trying to mitigate, reduce the tax liability, the tax burden on these decisions that you're going to make in retirement. And we talk about a lot of things. And I don't want the program to be about that. There's a lot of programs out there that talk about, maximizing your Social Security and what to do about this and what to do about that. And I'll tell you, if you want to fill up a room with people, give a talk on Social Security. Seriously, they will show up out of the woodwork to hear that. But there's always a component missing to that. And that component, whenever you talk to these people, I mean, they can give you the numbers, but the component is life, and life happens. And it doesn't always happen at a predictable rate. I love when you hear these young, financial planners talking, let's put your money in a slow growth mutual fund that's going to pay you 6.75%, and for the next 30 years, you're going to have this. It's like, well, you don't know.
The next 30 years?
You don't know what's going to happen tomorrow, let alone 30 years from now. So we try to take some of that into consideration. And of course, there's the issue of taxation and what's going to happen with taxes. So that's what we do. And that has always been what sets us apart from a lot of other financial planners is I'm always looking at the tax implication, and I'm always working with your last tax return, last couple of tax returns, last couple of years of tax returns. And, we can project forward a few years. We talk about those life events. You're selling your house. You're selling your business. That's a big one. You're selling your business. What is the implication? And we've had some people that have moved here that I now have as clients, and it's interesting. We've got two groups of people. We've got some people that have moved here from states that have no state tax. And I know you're nodding because you've heard the conversations. Emily, feel free to just jump in here. By the way, I wasn't expecting you to come. I'm glad you're here, but yeah, feel free to just jump in. They come from a state that has no tax, so they come to North Carolina. Now, our tax rate's a flat 4.99, where it went down. It was 5.25. People talk about taxes just keep going up. No, actually, ours went down. It's 4.99. Now, it is a different schedule. There is standard deduction, and there are, Social Security is not taxable to North Carolina residents. So there's we take the federal tax return and adjust it. We always talk about the federal taxes. We really should talk more about state taxes because they are a thing of their own. But usually the numbers are so small, people don't care about that. They want to hear about, what do I owe the IRS? But North Carolina's actually got its own thing. But people will come here from Texas, Florida, Tennessee. They have no state income tax. They haven't never filed a state tax return. So I tell them, well, yeah, you owe the IRS or you're getting back a refund, whatever, of X number of dollars, and then you owe or you're getting back from North Carolina. And they give me this look like, North Carolina? Yes, you're from Texas, aren't you? You're from Florida. The thing with Florida, though, is a lot of people from Florida, especially the halfbacks, they're from New York. So they moved to Florida. Now they moved halfway back. So they know about state taxes because in New York, it's crippling. So we get those people, or we get people from California that move here. And when we do the state tax, they're like shocked at how little it is. They're like, yeah, California's the only state that has tax returns as complicated as the federal. It's the only state.
Or more.
Or more complicated. Yeah. Have you jumped in on any of those California returns?
I think I looked at one.
You looked at one? Yeah. I'm going to have some training. I'm going to pull everybody in about it because we're having more and more of those. I actually studied the California tax code. I had that California book, tax code book, because so many people started coming here. Actually, I did it about 4 years ago, and I took some extensive CE about California. But when we're looking at your tax return and we're looking at all these tax implications, we factor all that stuff in. And so I've had people that, even though they've looked at the implication of the Fed, they've been, for lack of a better word, they've been sandbagged by the state. I've had several people that's happened to them. So we're always looking at that, and that's what makes us different. Again, give us a call, 828-289-9300. We're now at our new location. That's what I wanted to say earlier, at our new location at 704 Oak Street. We got to give that building a name. It's Carmona Financial Consultants, but we got to give that building a name. You know, we have the Tryon Building, 226 South Trade Street, the beautiful Art Deco building, right off the historic downtown Tryon. I'm tired of calling it the former Carter Bank Building, because most people don't even know that it was there. There are people that say, when they pull up, this was a bank of some kind.
Because they forgot about First Union.
And I've had some people say First Union. I banked here 20 years ago when this was First Union.
I was like, first what?
Yeah. First Union. And then they'll say, then some bank bought them and I got out of it. And I've asked people, why did you bank here? Because nobody was excited about Carter Bank. And I said, why did you bank here? And somebody told me, well, back in the day, they had free checking.
They did.
Yeah.
And that was a thing.
Yeah, that was
They had a sign out front.
a big thing for them. Yeah.
They had a sign out front.
Free checking.
Free checking. Oh, that's right.
That's probably the only reason I know that the Carter Bank was there, because I remember seeing that sign.
That said free checking. And people were like, that was a big deal. And I'm like, free checking? Doesn't everybody get free checking?
Not then, they didn't.
I guess I guess I didn't have enough money that it really mattered to me. I've been busy doing taxes, Emily. I've been busy 23 years. Well, I never had anybody. Oh, wait, no, I shouldn't say that. I should say, in the 23 years I've been doing taxes here, I literally had a handful of people put that bank for their deposit. And then that's how I found out that building, that bank was closing, was because one client said, oh, because when so I'm going over your tax return and tell you, okay, you're getting a refund. You're getting, $1 million or whatever your refund is. And do you want that direct deposited or do you want a check from the IRS? And then, they'll go, oh, let's just direct deposit. And I'll say last year, because I'll go over last year, you had a bank account. And I said, Carter Bank, you had an account that ends in whatever, 1, 2, 3, 4. And the lady said to me, oh, no, I closed that account last year. That bank is closing. That was the first thing I heard about that building. And I said, they're closing? And I had to stop and think for a minute, where is that Carter Bank? And she said, over there, next to Big Dave's, right? That's like the landmark. Those little Big Dave's you can never close. Nobody will ever find me. You have to stay open forever, or at least as long as I'm there.
It'd be like, oh, that's the parking lot we've been using.
That's the parking lot we've been using, yeah. Big Dave's. So, so the lady told me that. And that was the first time I was like, oh, really? And then there was like one other person.
Okay, but if I was going to get $1 million back in a refund, I think I'd want it to be a check from the IRS so I could have that photo opportunity. Biggest
check I ever saw in person from the IRS. I should have taken a picture of it now that you say that. The biggest check I ever saw, $795,000. A check.
That's a lot.
Oh, to them it's nothing. It's just numbers. $795,000, and it was like to the penny. It was $795,185.36. It was something just like that. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Second biggest check, and it's a big leap. The second biggest check I ever saw from the IRS was $180,000. Yeah, 700. I've been in continuing ed classes with CPAs and accountants and stuff, and they told me they've seen $1 million checks. Yeah, at some point though, have you guys never heard of like wiring money? I mean, it's like if it's that kind of money, I think I would want it wired.
Yeah, maybe.
The one guy knew he was going to get that money back. It was part of a business that closed, and they had way overestimated the taxes when they closed the business and did the merger and acquisition. The guy sent like $1 billion to the IRS. He sent a huge amount of money, the accountants, and nobody stopped and caught it. That's what the importance of tax planning. And it took them like 6 months to get that money back. And that was their money that sat there, earning them no interest for like 6 months because the accountant decided to send them way more money than he should have. He sent them like way more. And then by the time I got involved, there was nothing I could do just to try to get that money back. And I did. Like I said, biggest check I ever saw. I should have made a copy of it and framed it. Let's take our last break. Gilbert Talks Taxes, WCAB, AM 590, FM 100.9.
I want to tell you about another great local business, Forest City Concrete and Grading. Call Sean at 828-447-5949. Sean is a licensed general contractor. He can do your job from site development to completion. That's Forest City Concrete and Grading. Call Sean at 828-447-5949 and tell him Gilbert Talks Taxes sent you.
A good sign is good business. Make your business stand out with a professional sign from Dia Signs and Graphics. Successful companies all over the United States trust the team at Dia Signs and Graphics. With 25 years of professional experience, we have the ability to present your company's image in the best light. Not only display signs, but Dia Signs and Graphics can print banners of all sizes. And if you need magnetic signs or window and vehicle graphics, call on Dia Signs and Graphics today. We offer a full line of sign products for any event. 3D, sandblasted, storefront, and monument signs are just a part of a complete selection of quality signage. Professional signs and banners to fit any budget. Let your business stand out. Call Dia Signs and Graphics today at 286-4900 or stop by the sign shop located on Main Street in downtown Spindale. And check our website for more suggestions at diasignsandgraphics.com.
And D&S Signs has moved. They're now at 1621 Porsford Road in Rutherford. That address again, 1621 Porsford Road.
I've ever seen. Gilbert Talks Taxes, WCAB, AM 590, FM 100.9. We are back. Smallest check I ever saw. We were just talking about during the break was, I can't remember if it was 32 cents or 39 cents.
Less than $1.
But he was going to frame it. I need to go. Well, next time I go by his office, I will remember to look at it. See if he framed it. He said, "I'm not cashing that." I said, "I would cash it just to cash it." But there's a whole story behind that. Okay, I'm done. I'm done talking about taxes. I've got 11 minutes. I've got 12 minutes. 11 minutes and 40 seconds left. I want to read a scripture, but first I want to thank everybody. And we didn't run a lot of commercials this year for Massey Ferguson. We just didn't. We of course support them. So take that refund right over there to Massey Ferguson and get you a big, bright, red, shiny Massey Ferguson. I'm still holding on to getting one. Oh yeah, $17.25. That's what I want.
The air-conditioned cab?
No. Oh, you think too big. No, it's that little one with the backhoe and the bucket.
You've changed your...
Yeah, well, my vast 2-acre estate. My vast 2-acre estate. That's way more tractor than I will ever need. Well, Christy won't let me get one because she's not something about parking her car in the garage. I don't know. Something about not putting the tractor in the garage. And you can actually park those in the garage.
Yeah.
So
your little black car could sit outside.
We have priorities, Emily. We have priorities. Okay? We'll have this conversation later. I see whose side you're on. Massey Ferguson, get you a Massey Ferguson tractor. Go get you one. I want to thank Brock Family Care. For one thing, for being my doctor. Thank you so much for being my doctor. But Brock Family Care, I love what they're doing over there. They really are offering an alternative to health care. They are at 289 Shiloh Road, Forest City. Now, next Saturday, I'm actually going to be there at 12 o'clock giving blood. They're having a blood drive. Red Cross is having a blood drive from 10 to 3 at Brock Family Care, Shiloh Road in Forest City. The best way to schedule, and I looked this morning, they do have some open spots left. You can sit there, lay next to me, give blood right there next to me. You're not big on giving blood, are you? No, that's not one of your, no. But you've done it. I know you've done it.
Yeah, I've done double reds before.
Double reds. Oh yeah, the power. They call that the power ball or something. The power red.
Yeah.
Power red. That's it.
It's been a few years. Though.
So they're going to be doing that the 22nd. That's next Saturday from 10 to 3. Go to the Red Cross's Find a Location website. Just put it. You don't even have to log in or anything. Just put in your zip code, and that will come up for the 22nd at Brock Family Care on Shiloh Road. I'm going to be there at noon. Do a good thing. Donate some blood. Okay, I want to thank. Let me start by thanking everybody that sponsors me and supports me, and Jesse James. Thank you so much. Peterson, Sandra, Precision Tint. Thank you so much. Robin Saunders. I wouldn't look fabulous without her. Actually, I probably wouldn't have any hair left if it wasn't for her. Robin Saunders, RSL Salon. Alex Yvette. Little Alex at DS Sign and Graphics, they have really grown. That business is doing fantastic. Well, they just do a great job. Thanks for the signs. You know that 704 on the building. I had the vision for it. Yvette went with it. And it's simple, but it really looks so upscale. The way we did that. You think, well, that's just simple. Just put numbers on the wall. No. Where do you put them on the wall? How far do you space them? What color do you do?
How big? What font?
What font? How big? How wide? How bright? I mean, it took us hours. We just said simple black. Boom, it's on the building. And it really just looks great. Sean Smotherman, thank you so much. Forest City Concrete and grading. And listen, Sean, really, I got to get that driveway done over at the house. Please, put me on the calendar. I know you're busy. Put me on the calendar. And I want to thank the ever cheerful, the ever happy, the ever bubbly Kimberly. She is like that 24/7. She is. She really is. Kimberly, thank you so much for your endorsement. Am I forgetting anyone here? Emily, I think that's pretty much it. That is pretty much it. I want to thank Big Dave's Fish Camp. You guys are great neighbors. Their people have been parking in my parking lot, and they have just been wonderful people. They've been wonderful about it, and I'm glad to return the favor. You guys are great. Keep up what you're doing. And most of all, let me thank my staff now. I think that's it for the sponsor. I can't think of anybody I'm missing. I can't think of anybody. If I missed you, I'm sorry. I got to start by thanking Christy first. You know, Christy joined me full time 5 years ago. Now, she'd been with me for years. I mean, she had to listen to me talk about tax code 24/7 for 4 months when I was studying to take my EA. That alone right there, thank you for that, Christy. Thank you for that. Oh, it was 24/7. I was reading tax code books at, 11 o'clock at night. And the thing was, I was all excited about it. Honey, look at this. Look what Form 2553 says. And she just would look and go, oh. And little did she know that about 5 years later, she would be full-time with me. Yeah, I told her, I said, yeah, you should listen a little more, huh? She said, yeah. Yeah. Christy, thank you so much. I couldn't have done this without you. We wouldn't have this business. I wouldn't have this business without you. Thank you so much. She's been with me full-time. I want to thank, of course, Lynn. Left the bank. Came with us. She's been doing great. Lynn Millwood, thank you so much. Her daughter, Madeline, has just been really holding up that front, and she has been working very hard, and we're so excited to have her. Nathan, thank you so much. Nathan came on board, and he's been asking to work for me since he was a little guy. Yeah. And I said, I don't have a place to put you. He said, I'll sit in the kitchen on the refrigerator. Now, if you look at him now, it's hard to imagine he was ever a little guy. Nathan, thank you so much. I want to thank Margaret and Ann. Thank you guys so much for what you do. Rita, thank you so much. And Emily, of course, I want to thank you. Emily has really picked up the ball and run with it. You finished your master's degree, and then you went on and got your EA. Two not so small feats to do, and you did it all in the same year. That was impressive. That was very, very impressive. And you passed the EA exam. Thank you so much. I think I've got everybody. No, wait. Forgot Stephania, who Stephania came, and she wasn't too sure. She says, well, I've never done taxes before, but Stephania comes from a business background, and she is fluent in Spanish. She was born in Ecuador and lived in Spain for about 5 years.
Something like that, yes.
She was there during, her junior high and high school years. So she really has a solid foundation in conversational Spanish. I mean, I speak Spanish. I'm fluent in Spanish, but nothing like her. But we really felt like she was to join us. And it wasn't so much the tax part of it, because she's very bright, and I knew she would catch on. I think she was worried about the language. And I said, don't worry about the language. I actually was excited when she came on board, because I thought, great, she can help me with my Spanish. Because there are words that I don't use them every day. So there are some words, but we ended up talking in English so that I could teach her English. But she just jumped in, really both feet in the fire, and I put her desk right next to Christy's, really both feet in the fire, and I said, you help Christy, and if you don't learn taxes any other way, if you don't learn taxes this way, you ain't going to learn it any other way. And she has jumped on board, and Stephania, thank you so much. You have worked very, very, very hard. And I want to thank my Word of Faith family, because the help you have given me is beyond. People say, oh, what you have done. I haven't done anything. I've just obeyed God. Do this business to help people. We had the clients in Tryon we were helping open an office in Tryon, because we had so many that we were helping. And we opened that office. And then when this building became available, most guys my age are talking about retiring, and here we're hiring another generation and training them. And it's been more answering a calling. But I want to thank all of you. You helped me open the office. You helped me when we had the pipe burst and we had water everywhere. I had 30 people show up on a 30-minute notice to come and help us on December 25th. When the big frost, we had a pipe burst, and you would never know that it even happened. And then when I needed help moving, you guys showed up to help me move when we closed the other office. Thank you, all of you. Thank you so much. I can't say enough. And the scripture that I want to close with is, and really, Emily, I don't know. There were so many that I wanted to close with. There's so many that were just going through my mind this morning, and I would open to this, and I was like, oh, I want to read that one, and then it'd be like, well, I want to read this one, and then it'd be like, oh, I want to read that one. But Psalm 27, the Lord is my light, my salvation. Whom shall I fear or dread? The Lord is the refuge and stronghold of my life. Of whom shall I be afraid? When the wicked, even my enemies and my foes, come upon me to eat up my flesh, they stumbled and fell. Though a host encamp against me, my heart shall not fear. The war rise against me. Even then, in this will I be confident. One thing have I asked of the Lord, that I will seek, inquire for, and insistently require, that I may dwell in the house of the Lord all the days of my life, to behold and gaze upon the beauty of the Lord, and to meditate and consider and inquire in his temple. For in the day of trouble he will hide me in his shelter, and in the secret place of his tent will he hide me. He will set me high upon a rock. And now shall my head be lifted up above my enemies around me. In his tent I will offer sacrifices, and shouting of joy I will sing. Yes, I will sing praises to the Lord. Hear, O Lord, when I cry aloud. Have mercy and be gracious to me and answer me. You have said, seek my face, inquire for and require my presence as your vital need. My heart says to you, your face, Lord, will I seek and inquire for and require. Amen. And you can read the rest of it. We're out of time. I want to thank everybody for listening. Thank you, those of you that have come to me and have allowed me to help you. I can't say thank you enough. We will be back soon. Gilbert Talks Taxes, WCAB AM 590 FM 100.9.
Before get your message.